Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to Shootout. It is that time of the week again. We know that you absolutely love this series. Premier League predictions for match week 11 this weekend in the Premier League. We could see some sackings potentially at the end of this weekend. And of course, the Manchester United game is the one we're referring to. That is game number 1 of the weekend. Eunice, I'm going to give you the honour here of not only hello, how are you, but because you are now significantly ahead of me, I think it's only fair that you read out the scores because you are obliterating me right now. Do you know what the numbers are?
If I'm not mistaken, it's currently, and hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I am, because I'm 39-30 ahead, aren't I?
You are. You are a big fat 9 points ahead, which is 3 correct score lines. So
Lovely.
I've got to hope this week that you butcher all of these and that I can somehow bring back Mystic Benson from the depths of despair. And I at least want to bridge a gap of like 5 or 6 points this week. I want to make them up and then slowly turn the tables as the season kicks on. But should we start with Fulham and Man United, mate? Talk to me about this because this is a massive game for Manchester United here. Huge.
It is. It's huge. They are rotten right now. And we've just finished the Carabao Cup games and we've seen what's happened over at Old Trafford. Newcastle dispatching of them very, very eloquently. 3-0 winners, and United are just a mess. A mess. And look, anyone that's waiting for Man United to bounce back now, you're dreaming. It's finished. It's over. And it will continue up until something drastically changes. And unfortunately, that drastic change is going to be the manager first. That's just how it is. So I genuinely think Ten Hag will probably stay in the role for a little bit more because I think Man United do not want to get rid of Ten Hag. They probably want to save a bit of face, but they're going to be forced to. And that means the results are just going to continue. This game against Fulham are a team that can get a result, but I can't really rely on them to get the result. At the end of the day, Man United are going to be looking for an answer, and they're desperate, and they will get to a game where they'll find something, and I think this could be one of them. So I know they've been losing, and them going away to Fulham, I don't see them winning, but I also don't see them getting battered or anything like that just because of Fulham. And that's why. And listen, I'm not looking to get booked or anything here. So am I predicting first or you?
I think you are. We've been so good this season. We've Gary Linekered ourselves, but I think you should give your score prediction first because
right.
I'm sure it's not the same as mine because I'm going for something rogue here.
You have to. You're 9 points behind.
I know. I've got to change things up. I've got to go with the gut, you know. But fire away with your score.
That felt good. That felt like when Jose was like, Arsenal, 10 points behind. 10 points behind. Listen, I think Fulham and realistically, Fulham can win. And if there's a chance that if there's ever going to be a day where they do beat Man United, this is the weekend. I'm going with 1-1.
I feel like there's a buck coming. 1-1.
I'm going with 1-1.
Well, I'll throw it straight back out there. I think Fulham are going to pile the misery on here. I watched the highlights against Ipswich. Yes, it's Ipswich.
Yep.
I'm going 2-1 Fulham, you know. I think Fulham are going to get a result here. I think they're pretty useful. I can just see a couple of Pereira set pieces, an ex-Man United midfielder, basically just showing how that club has just been ran into the mud. And I'm going to go with a Pereira free kick and then a Cordova read outside the box, bottom corner goal. 2-1 to Fulham. Brentford West Ham is next, mate.
Brentford West Ham. This one's interesting because they're both basically in the same part of the table. And with Brentford performing well at home, but West Ham not doing well in their last game. And you'd think that there might be a response here, a chance to bounce back. But Brentford at home are quite efficient. So it's quite hard to really call this one, if anything. But West Ham do have enough quality, I feel. And I know Brentford are at home, but I feel like we will see West Ham respond to their last game where they were a bit all over the place. And I'm honestly thinking, I'm leaning more towards West Ham, although there is a chance that Brentford could get a result here. I think it's quite a hard one to break down, really. So what do you think?
I was waiting there. I didn't have any yellows, but I was pondering, perceiving that you might have gone and thrown one out.
Nah.
I'm going to say that this is going to be 1-1. I think Brentford are obviously going to be on a high after last week. West Ham also on a high after their biggest win against Arsenal at home, I think, in the Premier League era. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think both teams at the moment are kind of in this little period where if one of them wins this game, they're going to be really looking to kick on. If Brentford do get a home win here, which I wouldn't put it past them, I think there is definitely space for them to grow. It will be their third league win on the bounce, but I can't separate them. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. What is your score, Big Eunice?
Look, with Brentford, I feel like they've had a little bit of a nice run of form, and I feel like now's the time to dip a little bit. West Ham, as you said, just got a brilliant result against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. I think they're going to ride that, rectify their game in the Premier League, and I think they're going to win 2-1. So I'm going West Ham to win 2-1.
Nice one. 2-1 win for West Ham. Big week for them. Burnley versus Crystal Palace is the next game that we're going to do. Alphabetical order, 3 p.m. on a Saturday. About as boring and mundane as a Premier League fixture as I think you could find, Eunice. Throw one out there for me.
Burnley are a mess, right? And even in the Carabao Cup, they got knocked out by Everton. That tells you everything you need to know. With Burnley, I honestly... They're not clicking in the way that people expected them to start clicking. They're not playing the football that people expected them to play. They're just not efficient. However, they're at home. I don't see them losing every single game. And it's Crystal Palace. And that's why I can't really break this one down. And for that reason, I'm going to go with an efficient 1-1. I'm going to call it straight down the middle.
A 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
I think Palace are going to get a winner. I think they're going to win 1-0. I think it's going to be one of those... Burnley, I think, are going to have to start changing things up a little bit. I think they're going to have to be a bit more defensive, maybe revert back to some of their old ways, potentially. And against a team like Palace who... Yeah, bro. Like, I think what we saw in the Cup was basically like Sean Dyche was literally pointing at Kompany, theoretically, and just being like, you don't know what you're doing there, mate. I just think Palace, they've kept the most clean sheets in the league, I think, this season. Joint most. And I think they get another one. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Crystal Palace. Everton versus Brighton next at Goodison Park. Everton in good form. Brighton are, again, a bit like a West Ham or a Brentford. The next couple of games could shape the way that their season goes. How do you see this one going down?
Everton are really, really hot and cold, but they're looking a little more hot than cold as of late. And them being at home, confidence is starting to maybe kick in a little bit. Brighton are a weird one as well. They've been very inconsistent. But this, I just don't see Brighton on this day against Sean Dyche's Everton breaking them down. And this is why I think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be an exciting game. As much as it's Brighton playing and people are probably going to expect goals, I just think Everton are going to nullify them. I can't see it going any other way.
Okay. I mean, I'll give you my score. I think it's my go.
Yep.
I think Brighton do get a win here. I think the fact that Everton played last night, Wednesday, they didn't play this week in the Cup because guess who knocked them out? Bloody Chelsea did, mate. I think Brighton are going to go there and win 2-1. I think Everton, I don't think they've got enough quality in the squad overall to be able to sustain winning runs. And I think they might come unstuck here. 2-1 away win for De Zerbi's men. What are you going for?
I'm going 0-0. I'm going a nice,
0-0.
Good old-fashioned Sean Dyche, nothing's coming through, 0-0.
You've had some very plain cornflakes for breakfast today, haven't you?
Well, Sean Dyche has. So,
very plain.
0-0.
Well, I had a couple of hash browns, so that's me different. Man City versus... No, wait, hang on. Yeah, Man City versus Bournemouth is the next one. Like, don't tell me you're going to go... If you go 0-0 here... I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw something out there for you right now.
Go on.
I'm going to throw something out there. If this game finishes 0-0 and you predict it, I'll give you 10 points.
See, you're just trying to get me to lose points here. Very, very carelessly. Like,
No, you don't lose any. It just could be one that you don't get any. You know what I mean?
no. That's not. No, it's not happening. That's a ridiculous. It's Man City, Bournemouth. You know, do that for the next one. Newcastle, Arsenal. We might be onto something. But with Manchester City, Man City and Bournemouth. Nah, look, this is going one way and one way only. It's going one way. And it's not Bournemouth. If anyone thinking I'm going to be flipping crazy and say it's Bournemouth, no. Look, I think Man City at home, comfortable day at the office, and I'm going with a very, very comfortable 3-0.
3-0 win. I'm going to go with 4-0. I think it is after last week. I had Ollie Watkins as my flipping captain last week. I was on the review talking about Martinez letting me down for Villa. Ollie Watkins against bloody Luton decides he don't want to turn up. I'm putting Haaland back as my fantasy captain, and I'm going to go 4-0 City, Erling Haaland, hat-trick.
Oh.
Sheffield United versus Wolves is the next game. Is this going to be Wolves making it 6 unbeaten, or can Sheffield United somehow salvage something from what looks like a doomed season already? What do you think?
I'll be honest, I don't even think Sheffield United will score. And I know that they're at home, and like I said, there's going to be, even these teams that are at the bottom and it looks like they can't even breathe, right? They're going to get a point at some point. You know, they're going to draw a game or they're going to win one game. Like, it's going to happen against someone. But Wolves are a team that's clicking right now and they're super consistent and they're really, really doing well. I think they're going to be hard to break down. I don't feel Sheffield United have enough quality or whatever it is right now in this squad that's a problem for them. I just don't see him getting past Wolves. So I don't think it's going to be a good day for Sheffield United, I'll be honest.
No, I think you're right. I just think at the moment they're kind of relying on individual moves, set pieces. I think Wolves have been brilliant. If you look at Neto, 7 assists in 10 games is magnificent. He's got the most assists in the Premier League. I think he scores the winner, and I think there's only going to be one goal. I think Wolves are going to go and win 1-0. What's your score prediction for Sheffield United Wolves, Eunice?
Similar. I'm thinking 2-0 Wolves. So I think Wolves will be able to really kill off the game at some point. With Sheffield United, I do want to say there are rumours starting to heat up that Chris Wilder could be on the return, and they might have approached him to come back. I mean, right now, could that be the only saviour for them? It's a possibility, but they're going to have to do something, and I don't feel like their fortunes will change against Wolves. So, yeah, I'm going 2-0 Wolves.
All right, fair. Newcastle versus Arsenal. Now, this is probably the game of the weekend if you take away the best and biggest team in London against Tottenham Hotspur. Like, this is definitely the best game of the actual weekend, apart from Monday Night Football. Yeah. This could be a cracker. But I also think it could be a bit drab. After both teams played in the Carabao Cup, maybe. Like, I don't know. I just think with Newcastle, and this is why I'm scared for Chelsea to play them. I think at the moment, like they can be blistering at home. I think the atmosphere has a massive part to play of that. I think Newcastle fans, they're happy with where they are, but they also want to be entertained. And Eddie Howe has found a way for them to play and be entertaining, yet still difficult to break down. But I think against Arsenal, it could be a case of, well, how much do we push? And then how much does that invite Arsenal to push? And as a result, I've got a funny feeling that they're going to end up cancelling each other out. But it isn't my score first, it's yours. How do you see this game going?
This one's a weird one because, you'd think that Arsenal in the league have enough momentum to be able to, go to a place like Newcastle and maybe with the amount of flair and attacking prowess that they have, get a job done. But Newcastle are, for me, are the hardest team in the league to break down. They're the most difficult. And this is why when Chelsea drew them in the Carabao Cup for the quarterfinals, and I think that was the worst possible draw we could have got because they are the epitome of concrete wall. It's just, and they're efficient going forward.
And at Stamford Bridge, we all know how that goes.
Mate, do you know what I mean? So this is why I'm looking at this game and thinking that they, at home, I think are going to have enough to be able to nullify Arsenal and go on and win the game. So I'm going with a Newcastle 2, Arsenal 1.
Wow. Okay. I was thinking if any team was going to win this, it probably would be Newcastle because they're so good at home. But I just can't split them. Based on the logic I just gave, I'm going to have Newcastle 1, Arsenal 1 for this one. Next game is Forest, Aston Villa. Interesting again. Villa are they're in a title race right now, Aston Villa. Like, I think we made a video yesterday saying, can Spurs win the league? But Aston Villa are only 4 points off the top right now. They're scoring goals for fun. There's goals all over the pitch. Like, can they carry that on away from home against Forest?
Mate, their form has been unbelievable. They've won 7 out of 10. They've only lost twice. I mean, yeah. They've scored... Actually, they've scored the most amount of goals. What's going on?
Wait, Villa are the top scorers in the league?
Yeah, I've just seen.
Oh, my word.
Hang on, Aston Villa and Newcastle have scored the most amount of goals. Even more than City. That's actually quite unbelievable, but they've conceded quite a bit. They've conceded 14, and that's why, compared to the others, it's a little bit... But I think that was quite at the start of the season. Aston Villa were looking a little bit shaky. They've fixed up. With Unai Emery, they are quite disciplined now, I would say, at the back, and they're getting results. So, yeah, I think this is going... this is going one way. If I'm being honest, I don't see it going any other. Nottingham Forest, despite being at home, I just don't feel like there's enough in the tank to be able to deal with what Aston Villa are going to bring under Unai Emery. Their efficiency, their form, their consistency. They defend well, they attack well, clearly, they score goals. I just don't... I think it's too much for Nottingham Forest to deal with. It's my prediction, right?
No, it's not. But
okay.
Almost. You saved by the bell there.
See, I thought of going in for the tackle.
I can't lie.
I thought of going in for the tackle, and I'm like, nah, I don't want the booking, so I'm going to let the player go. Go on, George.
Pull out game strong, mate. I rate it. I'll throw you the score. I think I'm going to get this one right. You know, like you got them results that you just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going Forest 1, Aston Villa 2. I think it's going to be quite tight.
Narrow.
I don't know why, but I always think Forest are going to score. I usually predict Forest to score, I think. If you want to be that guy in the comments, then go and tell me how many times I predicted Forest to score and if they did. I'm going to go Forest 1, Aston Villa 2. Another good win away from home.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I'm going similar, but I don't think I don't think Nottingham Forest will score. I'm going with Nottingham Forest 0, Aston Villa 2. So 2-0 win.
All right, fair result. What about Luton? If they're going to score against Liverpool, Luton versus Liverpool 2-1 winners in the Cup. Luton struggling, but like maybe signs that they're not the worst team in the league. But Liverpool, I feel as though everything's clicking right now. They had all of their forwards scoring last week. I think Szoboszlai is a brilliant footballer. Darwin Nunez scored a fantastic goal. I just think things are starting to click at Liverpool. I think they're getting confidence again as a team. How do you see this one going? Surely this is one way, or is this going to be one of the shocks? Could this be Luton's moment?
Nah, mate, Luton win all day long.
You're not going to do it.
No.
When you say it that confidently, I know you're not going to do it. I just know.
Like, listen, I wish I could live in a world where I could come and say Luton are beating Liverpool and it's going to be a no-brainer. But unfortunately, we don't. So you're right. With what Liverpool are doing right now, they are starting to tick over. They are starting to build up that consistency. They've fixed some of the areas that they've needed to fix, you know, in terms of their midfield and the way that they do link up in attack. And yeah, Klopp has now got, it seems, at least somewhat of a new identity with this Liverpool team, and he's got them moving. So Luton are Luton. They're just not good enough. Really, are they? And when you've got a team like Liverpool coming to town, they just don't have what it takes to stop them. So I don't feel like it'll be a battering, but I am going with a Luton 0, Liverpool 2. So comfortable win.
Okay. I was going to do that as well, but I can't rationalise why I think it'll be 1. So I'll go Luton 0, Liverpool 3, which leads us into the final game of the weekend. And as far as I'm aware, neither of us have predicted Chelsea to lose yet in this series. But why do I have a funny feeling? Like Tottenham versus Chelsea, Monday night, Ange Postecoglou, Pochettino returns to Tottenham Hotspur. Why do I feel as though this could be disaster for Chelsea Football Club? But at the same time, why might it not be? Eunice, what do you think is going to happen here? Surely we can't predict a loss for the Chelsea, can we?
Look, I want to be as real and as honest as possible, and I don't want blind faith to come into into the midst of things. I want to keep it real. I want to be able to say that for the magnitude of the game itself, that Chelsea will step up to the occasion and we'll see a good game, and there'll be a good opportunity here to possibly do something, right? But it's not about us. I feel it is about us, but it's about Tottenham as well. Like I've said previously, this game for Tottenham is poetic. It could be Tottenham, top of the league, 14 points ahead of Chelsea. They could make it 17. It's under Big Ange. The atmosphere is fantastic over there. They're getting Pochettino back at their own stadium to do them over with Chelsea. You know, like, it's just for Tottenham, this is the lottery. And for Chelsea, it is a big opportunity to maybe bring Tottenham down a peg or two. But the quality that Tottenham are moving in right now, and the blend that they have, and the way that they're moving with their build-up, their midfield, Maddison, Son, the way that they're scoring, the discipline that Ange has managed to get them playing in, on and off the ball, everything is just working in their favour. I want to be able to say Chelsea will have enough, whether it's tactical prowess or just individual quality or at least a bit of form to come into this game and cause Tottenham some trouble. I just don't see us causing enough trouble for Tottenham. And that's why I'm, for the first time in my life, looking at a Tottenham-Chelsea game, and I swear to you, thinking, oh my God, this might not go our way. Because every single other game we face Tottenham ever, I've gone, yeah, it's Tottenham, we're winning, not a problem. And even if we do end up losing, I always, before that, I'm like, yeah, no, we're winning. This is the first time I'm looking and going, flipping now, we might not. So it's a tough one to really come on and talk about, because I want Chelsea to win, but I've got to be honest. So,
mate, I think everything you said I find very difficult to disagree with, which is the harsh reality of this situation. However, let me just hold you all right there, all right? This is time. This is Pochettino's moment to rise and show Tottenham Hotspur just how great they had it. To remind them that Big Ange really just is a fluffy kangaroo from Scotland, not Australia. And I think that this could be the game where Tottenham go 17 points clear. But I can't do it. I can't do it. And for some reason, I've just got a funny feeling that this is Thiago Silva's moment. He's done it before at this ground, and he's going to do it again, all right? And we're going to go 1-0 up. We're going to have this sense of hope again. And then James Maddison's going to score from outside the area, followed by another Chelsea goal on the counter-attack with Cole Palmer sliding it through the legs of Vicario, one-on-one. And then Heung-min Son, having been sent off in this fixture 4 years ago, is then going to show up in the 89th minute and rescue a point for Spurs, which would leave the score as Tottenham 2, Chelsea 2. Good result for Pochettino, good result for Chelsea, and screw you, Big Ange, you ain't going to beat us. All right? I've had enough of them. I've had enough. It's not happening. That's it. Done. Dusted. Finished.
Mate, I love the way you've just built up that entire story. Round of applause for George, everyone. Round of applause.
The king of bullshit is here, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe.
So you're going 2-2. Man, I
agree with everything you're saying, but like I don't want to predict Chelsea to not win. And then imagine next week if like we get a 2-2 draw and I'm like, right, well, that 9-point gap don't seem so good anymore. Don't bet against your club, mate. But I mean, it sounds to me like you might do it. But I need to hear it from the horse's mouth.
You know, like on my channel, I think I hesitate more, because on here I know there's other fans and whatnot, so it's a little bit more like, we can be a little bit more grounded. On my channel, I hate to say Chelsea will lose, but look, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be real, especially with what we saw against Brentford, what we saw in the Carabao Cup against Blackburn. It was a win. It wasn't the best performance. It was a win though. But is it enough to take into the Tottenham game? I think the Tottenham game is just going to be too big of a level right now. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to say Tottenham 2, Chelsea 0.
Bloody hell, that is horrifying. That is absolutely horrifying. But I think you vindicated it. I think your reasons were good. It's just very hard for me to hear from you. And it's put me on a big downer that maybe this is going to be a horrifying weekend of Premier League football. Again, let us know in the comments down below what your score predictions are for this week. Do you think Eunice is absolutely off his rocker for betting against Chelsea, or not betting, but predicting against us, the mighty Blues? I do feel as though he's got some very fair points, though. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And Eunice, you have any last words to bow out of yet another week of intensely brilliant shootout content?
Mate, yeah, it's been class. So if you haven't checked out all the other videos, make sure you do. I hope we are here for the reaction to all this on Tuesday. And I've got my prediction wrong. Chelsea have beaten Spurs. We've got other freak results. United have lost. Arsenal have lost. Tottenham Forest have beaten. No, Luton have beaten Liverpool. and you know, life is flipping incredible. If that's the case, then great. But find out on Tuesday how we're feeling. Be there.